I think that's okay. The light's not perfectly on me. It's close enough. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Dream Theater with their song Metropolis Part 1, The Miracle in the Sleeper, of course, off of their album Images and Words, released in 1992. Now, in case I haven't said it before, or if it's your first time here, I grew up, and I mean grew up like high school, college, as a fanboy of Dream Theater. I've heard pretty much all their albums except maybe the last three, probably. I don't know. However, I thought it'd be nice to come back to arguably their best album. And even though this isn't my favorite song on the album, that would obviously be Learning to Live, this song was the one that catapulted me into following Dream Theater for so many years. Anyways, you guys are more than welcome to join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. As always, I thank you for sharing and liking the videos and your support financially as well. Let's do it. This is Metropolis Part 1, The Miracle in the Sleeper, by Dream Theater. It's been years since I've listened to that song. Actual years since I've listened to that. And I remembered most of it. I slipped up on a few parts, but I remembered how it generally went. Like I said, when I first listened to Dream Theater, many years ago, it must have been almost 10 years ago, I would imagine, I was enamored, right? Pull Me Under, fantastic song, great opener. Another Day, smooth saxophone, lulls you in. I remember showing my dad that song just because it had saxophone, and I was like, look, you love jazz, look at this song, it has a saxophone in it. And he was very unimpressed, like he hasn't heard saxophone used in other types of music. And then Take the Time, another great rocker. Eventually, when it got to this song, I feel like I'm missing a song in there, but Surrounded, also good. Okay, but when it got to this song was where I fell in love with Dream Theater, and I really understood what they were trying to accomplish with their music. They weren't just writing regular rock music, And like I said, this is at a time when I was not exposed to progressive music in general. I had heard a decent amount of things at that time, but I wasn't familiar with a lot of things yet. So, to me, looking at the first three songs, I was like, oh, this is really good. It sounds good. I don't see necessarily anything unique about it. But it was with Metropolis, with this song, that I was like, wow, they took their instruments to a whole nother level. I was very surprised by the way they played. I was very wowed by how unique it sounded. I had never heard anything like that before. The drumming, I absolutely fell in love with the drumming of the whole album, but specifically this song. Portnoy just rips it up on the drum set. There's so many interesting double bass sections. I actually really like the sound of the snare, the guitar, and the keyboard. Oh my gosh, I think this is still when Kevin Moore was in the band. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've followed the band, and honestly I've forgotten a lot of, what I used to know. So I could be wrong. Okay, it was still when Kevin Moore was in the band. And at least to me, it was with those albums while he was in there that those are the best. I'm not hating on Jordan. I sometimes find the way he plays a little overblown. But let's not get into that. This is about Metropolis, the song. Let's not talk about other things. The time signature changes are fun and entertaining. I feel the song doesn't take itself too seriously. It plays very loosely and at the same time very calculated in just how well put together the song is. The singing from James, absolutely fantastic. I love his voice. This is one of those songs where he really shines. And even though he's gone for the extended break in the middle, he's out digging holes or whatever he does during that part, he really brings it and nails it when he is singing. Whether he's singing soft or whether he's really hitting those high notes, he sounds great. He really does. Yeah, I really enjoy when he goes into that higher range and the way he works himself up into that. He doesn't just go for it. He allows his voice to kind of naturally swing into it. And I really like that about his voice. I always have, especially in albums like this. I even liked him in his old band. I think it was called Winter Rose. Oh yeah, deep lore over here on Just JP. Let's talk about Kevin Moore. I love his keyboard work on here, even in the solo sections when it's a little more bizarre, I guess is the best word I can think of it in. It's a little more out there in the way he plays, but it's a fun solo. Like I said, the instrumental break of this song is fun to me. This is like the fun side of progressive metal and progressive rock. And John Petrucci just absolutely murdering it, of course, on the guitar. He plays so awesome. These riffs that just rip your face off, but then he plays really softly. And same thing, just like lulls you into that nice dreamy state, which the song does a great job of moving and transitioning between those parts. And I love this nice dreamy section in the pre-chorus before it gets back into the next part. The whole song comes together really well, and I have to talk about, because he won't talk about it himself, John Myung, bass. This might have been, actually I think Dream Theater was the band that got me interested in the bass in the first place. And even though I never got anywhere near how John could play, I always wanted to. I used to love this part so much. This is so cool. Yeah, and then getting back into it before the keyboard solo comes in, that's great. I love that whole section there, building up to the final climb. Third and last dance. Ooh, this one will last forever. I like that. Yeah. Now, for all the praise that I just gave this song, this is a song review, and I haven't listened to this song in, like I said, many years, to be honest. But if I'm now taking my today taste into how I feel about the song, I feel like the middle lasts a little bit too long, and I don't really like everything in it. I don't like the wackiness of the keyboard solo. It's you know what this song reminds me of? I guess thinking forward now on Scenes from a Memory Part 2, their album. This song, or at least the middle section of it, reminds me in bits of Dance of Eternity. That's like their premiere showcase of their talents, right? When they did the auditions for their new drummer, that was one of the songs that they used as a trial, along with, I think, like Nightmare to Remember. I think there was one other one, I'm not sure what it was. Dance of Eternity is a song that sounds cool, right? But it's not one that I really enjoy. I don't feel any emotional value in it. That's not saying that you don't, it's just I don't feel that. So the middle section of this song also kind of, for the most part, not all of it, but for the most part, it kind of leaves me feeling the same kind of cold feeling. It's cool to listen to, it's cool from a musician standpoint of view, but it leaves me a little cold emotionally. And if I don't connect emotionally to the music, then it needs to like really sound cool to like, get me interested. And this doesn't necessarily. I feel like the instrumental section is like a really, really cool sports car, like really high end, but I'm not a car person, so that's not really what I care about. I just want something that I attach to, it has the few features I'm looking for, and I'm good to go. It doesn't need to be the highest end. That doesn't mean because you like a high-end car, that's a bad thing. My favorite parts really of the song are the beginning and the ending, especially when James is singing and doing his thing, because I feel like the music really perfectly matches what they're trying to do without going too far off the edge. And I feel that if some parts of the solo, just to me, were removed, then it'd be an even perfect song. It'd be almost as good as Learning to Live. Getting to the lyrics, let's be honest, did anyone ever really know what this song was about? The smile of dawn arrived early May, she carried a gift from her home. The night shed a tear to tell her of fear and of sorrow and pain she'll never outgrow. Death is the first dance eternal. There's no more freedom, the both of you will be confined to this mind. I'm honestly not 100% sure what those lines mean, but ever since I did first listen to this song, I did like the next verse, where he says, I was told there's a miracle for each day that I try. I was told there's a new love that's born for each one that has died. I was told there'd be no one to call on when I feel alone and afraid. I was told if you dream of the next world, you'll find yourself swimming in a lake of fire. So I like that way that he writes that and the way he says that. I was told that if I try, there's a miracle. Maybe something will happen. I was told that even if a love dies, a new one will be reborn. So he kind of feels like he's being lied to, perhaps. In the way that maybe as a child or as someone without experience, he thought these things. But as he grew up, he found out that these things were perhaps a lie. And kind of getting into the title of the song, The Sleeper. So the sleeper, someone who doesn't realize the things going on around them. As a child, I thought I could live without pain, without sorrow. As a man, I found it's all caught up with me. I'm asleep, yet I'm so afraid. So perhaps someone even on the cusp of growing up. Someone who is going to face real life experiences at some point, and they're afraid to encounter those things. And I think that all of us, at some point, usually in like teenage years or something like that, we have those feelings where, We're in between being not necessarily a child, but an adolescent, and transitioning into adulthood. And it's like that uneasy feeling of like, when do we let go? Perhaps of our parents, perhaps of our securities, our safeties. When do we let go of that and begin to fly on our own? So that's how I've always kind of thought of the lyrics, and I really like how they're written. But to be honest, I have no idea what the rest of it is. I don't know. Anyways, I like the song. It's not my favorite. Like I already said, I already told you what that one is. But but let me know what you thought of this song. Of course, if you want me to look at any other songs from Dream Theater, whether I know them or not, let me know in the comments. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. Hope that you're having an amazing day. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.